So back in June, on June 23rd, uh, I participated in my first ever Pecha Kucha night in Knoxville, Tennessee. I put together 20 slides that were supposed to run 20 seconds each. And I gave a disclaimer before my original presentation, and I'll do it now. The slideshow you're about to see is the first slideshow I can remember completing. Um, I guess I used to have this perverse pride that I'd made it through middle school, high school, college, and grad school without putting together a slideshow. And then after going to the Pachakacha night and seeing all the beautiful slides that everyone else prepared, I was a little bit embarrassed. So these slides are juvenile. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. But I hope that they will still get their point across. So without further ado, let's start the presentation. So back in January, I finished writing a book called Melting Chocolate Kettles, 7 Ingredients for Meeting Creative Goals. It's short. It's only 59 pages. Right now it's free. The book and this presentation are on the same subject. That subject is finishing. Meet Martha. A lot of artists I know are really good at starting projects and not so good at finishing them. Their half-finished projects end up being a lot like this bird that you see, Martha. Martha was the last living passenger pigeon and is now rotting in the Smithsonian archives. So if you don't want your creative projects to end up rotting in the archives somewhere, what do? Well, I wanted fewer creative projects to become Martha's. I wanted all of my artist friends to start finishing their projects. Over the past 2 years, I've learned how to finish my own, and I boiled it down to 7 ingredients. The first of which is empowerment, and that's what the majority of this presentation is about. Most of empowerment is you stop doing things that don't work. I'm going to go through a list of 8 obstacles or creative myths that keep people from finishing. Obviously, praying to unicorns doesn't work. So the first and the biggest excuse that people have, most artists have when it comes to not finishing their projects is, I don't have enough time. Well, that's a load of crap. You'll never have enough time. Everyone has the same number of minutes and hours each day. You have plenty of time, but you just don't use it to do your art. The second myth is waiting to feel inspired. If you're waiting to feel inspired, you'll be waiting until you're dead. You're probably addicted to a certain feeling, that sort of inebriated feeling of being inspired. Don't wait. Get to work on whatever it is right away. You'll discover that inspiration shows up at 9 a.m. sharp. The next one is write about what you know. That's something that Ernest Hemingway said. That's just not true. That's bad advice. Do you think Tolkien ever met a dragon? Do you think Leo Tolstoy was a woman? Well, I'm glad he didn't take that into consideration and wrote Anna Karenina, despite that fact. Next one. Do you think Lewis Carroll sat down to write the first few pages of Alice in Wonderland and thought to himself, wow, this is really good stuff? No, he probably thought, this stuff is crazy. I need to lay off the opium. So don't wait for something good. Get started. I'm not saying it's bad to have an outline or clear plan. I'm not saying that's evil. I'm saying that you miss out on a lot of great surprises along the way if you're in a rush to get to one particular place, to one end. That rabbit trail might just lead you to the real genius. That diversion certainly worked for Lewis Carroll. You haven't finished yet, so you don't even have an audience. If you're talking to someone who's not there, well, that makes you crazy. Create for yourself first, always for yourself first. Write that rough draft, paint that first painting for yourself. You can worry about the audience later. Originality is like a romantic relationship. If you want it too bad, you'll mess it up. I promise you. But if you're really honest, something beautiful might just happen. Strive to be as honest, not as original, as honest as possible, and you'll discover that you're one of a kind. Do great news stories need a hook? No, only the crappy ones do. So how much less does art need to say, hey, look, I'm over here. Do great work and people will notice. Leave the glitter and the feather boas to the exotic dancers. Stephen Pressfield, who wrote The War of Art and Do the Work, came up with a name for the enemy when it comes to finishing creative projects. The enemy is called the resistance. The resistance is all of these creative myths. It's your insecurity and self-loathing. It's that middle school bully. Punch it in the stomach. To overcome the resistance, you have to remember what you stand to gain: a significant amount of joy. The world stands to gain a significant amount of beauty, and you will become a beacon of freedom from procrastination and mediocrity. Do you need proof? Václav Havel is a Czech playwright, essayist, poet, and dissident. He also happened to bring about the bloodless end to communism in Czechoslovakia, now the Czech Republic. If you need proof that art matters, here it is. Art leads to freedom. Here's my definition of courage. Courage is committing to one small, decisive action, and then you do it again and again. Courage comes with training, not trying. Like the Cowardly Lion, you'll discover that you had just enough to get the job done. So now, you just need to commit to one project. Choose one project. Which one doesn't matter, just choose. Commit to it the way a dog commits to a steak. Commit to it like air and shelter and food and love. Hold on to that one project for dear life. And then break it into smaller steps. Those smaller steps will lead you to create. That part is easy. You've probably never had any shortage of ideas. The problem was most of them ended up being like Martha, dead and gathering dust. So reach out and touch that first tiny step of creation. Give it your spark. So I took my own advice and I did something really stupid. Something for which I felt totally unqualified. I wrote the first page of the first novel. The first page of the first draft of my first novel, which is so stupid. Me writing a novel. I have no experience writing novels. But why not me? Why not? Why not you? What's your stupid thing? What is your one small microscopic speck of courage for tomorrow? Whatever that speck of creation is, go touch it. Sink your teeth into it. Go. Be stupid. Finish, finish, finish. Thanks for listening.